that was funny. So talking about... Hold on. Stop.
Is it up there? Is your idea up there?
It's all over. Because it's an idea. Can I have a sip?
Yeah. So, INFJ married to an INFP. Apparently, according to forums, this is not a good idea. Like, I mean, apparently... Well, I think it's theoretically a good idea, but a lot of people say, like, oh, hell no, we're not doing that.
It's, we don't share any of the same functions, even
None.
though, I mean, we have a lot of fun, like, we get along really well, but we don't share a lot of the same functions. And until recently, it kind of surprised me, because I feel like a lot of things we do in life are the same. What we're viewed as by our friends is essentially the same kind of a figure.
Very similar.
And our goals in life, I think, are pretty similar. Our views on things are pretty similar.
Actually, I would maybe reverse that, and that our views on things are similar, but our goals in life might not be.
I think they're pretty similar. I think they're maybe more similar than some people who share some functions can be. I mean, we don't have any of the same ones.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see.
So, I mean, with that in mind, I think they're pretty similar.
Yeah. Well, it almost seems to me like, INFP and INFJ, it would seem like they're really similar because they only differ by one letter, but that's where the functions come in, and the P and the J makes all the difference in the world. Like, it almost seems that INFP and INFJ are like leaning the opposite way from the same point, and they arrive at the same conclusions, but from a totally different way.
Right.
I mean, the INFP is like deep feelings, scatterbrained possibilities, and doesn't really quite know what to do with themselves. The INFJ is like very focused, but social feelings in a sense. I mean, even though I think you're more sociable than I am in a lot of situations. Well, no. Anyway, what I was really trying to say is that...
This depends.
Yeah. What I really was trying to say is that although they get there exceptionally differently, they arrive at very similar things. They're very humanitarian. Yes. So...
We'll cry for you. Sorry.
The INFJ won't cry for you.
I'll cry for you.
The INFP.
But only on my own, and you'll never know it.
Yeah. The INFJ will cry with you, but they won't be feeling your pain. They'll just be feeling glad that they're connecting with you, and that's what they're crying at.
They don't really care about your problems. I'm kidding.
No, they do. They just get out. They get off by feeling the connection that empathy brings between people. So it's less like the INFP sits there and actually feels what the other person feels. The INFJ feels like they could understand what the other person feels and relates it back to their own life and is like, oh my god, I know what they're feeling. I can connect with them.
But I think that is
what friends.
I do.
Yeah,
that
but
is what I
you
do.
are like, it's like you don't have an agenda with it. I feel like INFJs have an agenda with it.
No, I don't have an agenda. No,
Not all the time.
I don't think, wow, I can get on your level so I can connect with you. My goal is to connect on some level because I want to help. And because I think I can, and I'm good at, like, emotional connection like that, but it's not the thing that I walk away feeling. It's not the thing I take away. I don't take away, wow, we connected on your emotion. I don't walk away with that. If anything, I walk away with, like, wow, this person hopefully just learned something, and I hope this has been useful for them. And I walk away learning a lot about me too. So I kind of walk away, like I view walking away as like me and them. And we're in the moment together, and then we've each gained something, but we're going down our different ways.
Chemical reaction. Almost.
Yeah, but I feel like it's like two separate things, kind of like hovering in this thing together, and then you're kind of like together.
Kinda.
Like, I feel like there's not a splitting off.
No, that's certainly true. I definitely feel like with everybody that I've ever shared a connection with, there's not ever a split, and I really hope that there isn't a split. I feel like every connection I make with people...
The split isn't negative.
No, it doesn't have to be, but I hope that connection can remain, and that it's something
Yeah.
I can rely on in the future.
Yeah.
I like it when people bring me in their circle and show me what's behind the walls, because
Right.
one, I probably had a good guess of what it was in the first place, and second of all, just to feel trusted. I think that's a human thing. I don't think it's an INFJ thing, but to feel trusted makes me feel emotional, because it makes me feel like I am loved?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, but there's like an agenda behind it, and it's not an agenda to manipulate the other person. That's not what it is. It's a when I can sense somebody's off, I will purposefully try to put myself in a situation and set up with phrases and timing a way to give them the opportunity to open up to me, and I'm hoping that they will, because when I then learn about them, I can then share things about myself too, and maybe we both can come out of the situation feeling better. Like, I can feel like I've helped them just by being there for them, and I might be able to bring a sense of, you're not crazy, because look at me, to the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
I feel the same way. It's hard to make this distinction.
It is, because it's so
at the end
obvious
of
when
the
you
day-
observe it.
But then at the end of the day, that's all I want.
It's true, but when you watch an INFP and an INFJ go about things, it's so different.
Okay, if you're...
It's so different.
It will take effort for me, if I'm with a friend and they're crying, it's a conscious decision to go over and hug them. That takes mental effort. But I'll do it if I sense it's what they need. But it's not something that, like, I just want to go over and... Like, even if I want to go over and hug them, it's not something that knee-jerk I'm going to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like an INFJ is much more likely to just be like, come here.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's an act... It takes effort for me to do that.
I think that's an FE thing, though. I mean, FI kind of sits there and resonates internally about things and doesn't really want to externalize it or take action on it necessarily.
Yeah.
And FE feels this compulsion to take social action on things.
Yeah.
I feel very uncomfortable, almost physically, if somebody is in... Okay, this is going to sound the same for both until I get to the end. Because
Okay.
I can feel you getting ready to be like...
I don't know what it is yet.
I know, but I do, and so I'm theoretically coming up
just
with
go
this...
with it, and I'll wait till
So
the
it's
end.
like... I feel physically uncomfortable in situations where I know somebody's uncomfortable or in pain. INFPs do that too, but the FE in me makes me want to complete that. It's like I am responsible for seeing to the goodness... That's not a word.
It's a word now.
It's a word now. To like completing the goodness of that situation. I need to fix it. I need to try. And even if I know I can't fix the actual problem, I can at least get in there and help the other person feel better. And I feel like an obligation to do that. Whereas FI, I feel like, is much more, yes, I feel the same thing. Yes, I'm also uncomfortable, but I need to give them space, kind of thing. No, the INFP just likes to argue. I think they're really uncomfortable without exploring all the possibilities. And if there's any INTJs or INFJs watching this, you know that we're pretty good at not looking at every option. Like, we feel like we know. I mean, I'm just going to say it because it's true. It sounds insulting, and it probably should be. But we feel like we know the correct or best way without having to explore every single one. And it's not true. It's just not true.
Well, we need each other.
Right, and that's why I think that's such a good model for us to be together.
Right. A lot of our dynamic is, the majority of it is David comes to me and says X, and then I'll debug it, and we're good to go.
Should be like X plus 1,
and
X
then
minus 1.
And then we've got it, and we're both satisfied. And it's so fun. I have fun.
She has fun. I get really exhausted. This is like...
I mean, it can be exhausting too, but it's fun. Come on.
It is fun. It is actually really fun.
You wouldn't be married to me if it wasn't fun. It is exhausting. Of course it is, when you're dealing with somebody
But I think
that.
it's more exhausting for the NI user, because the NE user is used to and very comfortable with just, what about this other thing? Because that's fun for them. But the NI user has so much momentum going in one direction that it is very difficult and painful. Very, like, it's uncomfortable for them to just change directions as fast as an NE user.
Right, but that's why it's frustrating for the NE users, is because it can't freaking get past, like, if you can't get off of something.
Okay, so NI is like this.
Look beyond yourself. Like, just look past it. Look at this other thing just for a second, and it's hard for you to do that sometimes.
I think it's like this. And we're only going to be really talking about NI DOMs and secondaries, or NE DOMs and secondaries, because those are the ones that
So if you don't got that good, I'm kidding.
just sitting there, and it only sees a little bit. So it has to move around slowly until it accurately stitches all the pictures together, and then it gets a really good idea. And it's slow as hell. And it's very limited, but it's very accurate. And then NE is like a bass sonar, a fishing sonar, like set to 10 feet deep, but it's going all over the place. And it's going it's like on a speedboat. It can map the thing to death in the end and get to the same place NI can. NI can get to the same distance that NE can. It's just that one is quick and dirty and relies on many iterations to actually get there. One is painfully slow.
Can I present another metaphor?
Yeah, please.
For me, the main difference is the concentration, not necessarily the depth or distance. It's concentration. So I think of it like, if you're on a stage, you've got some lights that, you can move a light around real fast, and it can see, like, all pieces of the stage, but it's there for brief periods of time on every little piece it hits.
Is this NE?
That's NE.
Okay.
So then you have NI, which is the spotlight. So it is, like, concentrated. It is not moving. It is so focused on whatever it's highlighting. But it's just that one part of the stage, but it's not moving. It's like, this is it. So
that was better. I liked that.
So NE might touch exactly where NI is, but it's not going to stay there for as long. It's going to go somewhere else. So it's not going to be as sure. It's not.
Right.
It's not. It might have an inkling that that's a possibility. It's probably seen it because NE is so quick.
And ADHD.
Yeah, so NE and NI essentially probably sees similar things, but
they can.
But NI is so much more confident in it. It's so strong on it, and NE won't be as confident. So I think that's why they need each other.
Same. I mean, I think it's really important for NI users to get over it. Get over the fact that you don't see everything. Get over the fact that, like, your NI feels like knowledge, but it's not. It's just a different way to look at things.
But I think that's a huge thing about INFJs, maybe INTJs too, is that...
Probably less INTJs.
That's what I'm thinking.
INFJs are so arrogant sometimes.
Well, INFJs are very sensitive. They take things personally, and I don't think INTJs do that.
No, I
much.
don't. How can you say that about me?
Yes, I think they can seem... Whoa, sir. Because INFJs and INTJs, especially INFJs, can seem like judgers, because I think a lot of times they mistake their intuitions as judgment.
As a aside, yeah, INFJs are judgers because they have the J there, because their first extroverted
INFJ.
function is extroverted feeling, but they are dominant perceivers. So that's really what we're talking about. It's like they can seem like they are not dominant perceivers, but dominant judgers, even though they are perceivers. That's what you're saying,
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas INFPs are dominant judgers.
Even though we're introverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving.
Right.
The perceiving has to do with our second function,
Mm-hmm.
our intuition.
Yep.
because it is open.
Yeah, that's why INFJs, even though...
What?
And, INFJs and INTJs, even though they're J types, a lot of their default mode is sitting quietly, alone, somewhere, because they're just taking everything in. It's just, they're in the perceiving mode and NI mode, which is quiet and abstract. It's very odd and subjective. Yeah. And INFPs can look like they're kind of wandering around and doing things because... or... Vague. Wandering around doing things. Hi, I'm an INFP. I'm wandering around and doing things. Are you? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's do it together. Yeah.
Combine? Did you say, why don't you and I combine? Is that a song?
No, but I'm going to sing it that way from now on.
That sounds like a terrible pop song.
Why don't you and I combine?
Still got more depthy lyrics than most modern rock.
Yeah.
Or modern rap. Modern rock. The
Rock?
fuck?
What rock sings that? Are we missing Downton Abbey? But my feet are still cold. I can't solve this problem.
My life.
I'm sorry. It's third level for me. It's not that great.